Welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to go over all the Canon lenses, which fit on which camera and which don't fit on what camera, and what happens when you put each lens on a certain camera. So let's get started. All right, first of all, I have a Canon 70D. This is a Canon Aps-c sensor. It's a crop sensor. So when you put a lens on here, you've got to multiply that lens times 1.6. So if you've got a 50 millimeter on here, you put it on 1.6, you're shooting with an 80 millimeter lens. So keep that in mind as we go through the different cameras. So with this being an Aps-c camera, it's pretty obvious that any EFS lens will fit onto it, since they were made specifically for the Canon crop sensors. This is a 17 to 85. With the 1.6 crop, it's more like a 24 to 100, somewhere in there, crop. And you put the EFS lens on it, because that's what they're made to do, go on the crop sensors. Now the crop sensor will also take the regular EF lenses. This is not an EF Pro, but it's an EF lens. And you still get the crop. And this is an 85 millimeter, I believe. So with the 85 on here, 1.6, it's going to be more like 125 millimeter lens. Then from there, you have the Canon's new RF lenses. They will not fit on any DSLRs. It has to be on the new EF system. And we have the Canon 24 to 70 EF. It is an EF lens, so it will also fit. This is a Pro lens. It will also fit on the Canon 70D. It's a 24 to 70. So again, that's going to be more like a 42 to 130 lens on that camera, but it does fit. And then you've got your third-party brands. Like this is a Sigma 24 to 105. It fits on there just perfectly. And you also have the 1.6 crop. Crop sensor Canon, you're going to get a 1.6 magnification. Most other Aps-c cameras are 1.5. Canon's 1.6, which can be an advantage if you're shooting wildlife and you need the extra reach. The downfall is if you need to go wide, it's harder to go wide, because you put a 15 millimeter lens on there, you're going to be more around 23, 24 by the time you're done. So that is the Canon 70D Aps-c sensor. So what happens when we move up to a Canon full frame DSLR? Now, the crop sensor lens, the EFS, will not fit on a full frame camera, mirrorless or DSLR. So you can't take your Aps-c and put it on a Canon full frame DSLR. I did misspeak there. You can do one thing. You can put an Aps-c on a mirrorless, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. But other than that, if you're shooting full frame DSLR, you can go with Canon's Pro lens, Canon 24 to 70. It will fit. You don't get any crop. It's 24 to 70. It's 24 to 70 when you're shooting. Same thing with the Sigma. It'll be 24 to 105. The lenses you cannot put on here, on the Canon DSLR full frame, you cannot put EFS lenses on it. And you also cannot put Canon's new RF glass on it. Now we move over to the Canon R6. This is a mirrorless camera from Canon. It's one of the newer ones. Now, you can take an RF lens, which is made for the Canon mirrorless. So any RF lens just goes straight onto the lens. It's a 50 millimeter, and it won't have any crop to it. It's 50 millimeter full frame RF glass for an RF mount camera. So now, if we want to go back to let's say I want to go back to my Canon 24 to 70 EF glass, the Pro version, you will need an adapter. You can get them for about $100. You put that on here. And usually when you put an adapter on something, you're always looking at a downgrade in quality. It's not the case on these mirrorless cameras. So I can take my Canon RF mount, put the adapter on it. Then I can go get my Canon 24 to 70 EF and put it on the camera, and it will focus just as good as it will if it was an RF lens. It should go on there pretty soon. Close. There you go. So there is the Canon R6 full frame mirrorless with the adapter and with the Canon EF glass, the 24 to 70, and it is 24 to 70 because it's full frame. You can also do the same thing with the Sigma that's made for the EF. You can also put it on your Canon mirrorless, and it will also be 24 to 105. Now, this is a little odd, but you can also take your EFS that would not fit your full frame DSLR. It will fit on the R6 full frame mirrorless. However, when you put the lens on, it's a 17 to 85, so it doesn't cover the whole sensor. So you're going to get that crop still because of how the lens is sized. So you can technically put an old EFS made for Aps-c cameras onto a new Canon RF with the adapter, but you will still get the 1.6 crop. So this 17-85 will have the 1.6 crop. It can be done. I don't recommend it, but you can do it if you're in a bind. So I tell you, Canon has some great RF glass. This is just a 50 millimeter. It's just something that's handy to have. They're cheap. You can get them. It's great to shoot with 1.8 f-stop. So I know that Canon can be a little confused on how they do their lenses. They have a little red line around some of their lenses, and that just lets you know it's a Canon Pro lens. It's called an L lens, L series, even though it's an EF mount. So I hope that will give you guys an idea of what cameras can do what and on what cameras can they do it. So just remember, like the crop sensor Canons, all the 10D to 90Ds will take EFS glass. They will also take the Canon EF, but the full frame Canon R6 DSLR will only take the EF. It will not take Canon's new RF, and it will not take the old EFS lenses. The Canon R6 full frame mirrorless modern camera, you can put any RF glass on it, because that's what they're made for. You can put the adapter on there, and you can put your old EF lenses on there, or you can even put, if you get in a bad jam, you can even put the old EFS lenses on it. You will get the crop. But anyway, so guys, I hope that's helping you out. I know it's a little bit confusing of how Canon names their cameras and which lenses fit on what and what happens when you put each lens on. But anyway, I hope this helps you guys out. If you have any questions, just hit me up on email at the bottom. I'll be glad to help you guys out. Hey, if we're helping you out, hit subscribe. Y'all have a good day.